Hey, Lake Wales. This is Catherine Price, and I'm one of the three little ladies. Um, and we're here today on, what is it, Saturday, July 6th, I think.
Yes.
And they're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the city here. And anyway, how are y'all ladies today?
Well,
Doing well.
yeah, that music's making me feel very mellow. I've got to get up my energy to talk here. That's nice.
Yeah, it's like we last time we were kind of rocking out, so I thought we might needed a little something else today. But anyway,
Well, I'm gonna add a little caffeine to this, and
yeah, I got a little caffeine going on too. So how was y'all's 4th of July? Y'all have a nice 4th of July?
It rained a lot. It rained a lot. I happen to live in a house where up in my bedroom, I can look out over the lake. And so I just laid in my bed and watched the fireworks until I fell asleep. It was very nice.
well, I fell asleep waiting for the rain to end, so I didn't get even. But I understand it was a great display.
Yeah, it was. It was. The city needs to be commended for that. Especially they came through on a very rainy day and managed it all.
Plus,
We're in North Carolina right now, and we went to a really nice parade down on the main street of Waynesville.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a cool parade. I played music down there because one day I'll play fiddle for y'all. I like to play fiddle.
yeah.
And so I was down there playing with some folks on the main street for the parade, and the parade was a people parade. They closed off the street. There was no, floats or anything like that. It was just a lot of people dressed up for the 4th of July. A lot of children were dressed up. They had wagons. They were pulling little children, and it was a lot of people. And it was just so neat. It was kind of like sort of like a people's parade.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, I liked it because, you could tell the children enjoyed it. And there were some people that were pretty dressed up, for the 4th and, all of their, patriotic colors and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we went to a party and just sat around with folks and, had some nice food and everything. So I like that. I'm not a big fireworks person.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's come back to our topics here.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a minute about the Lake Wales workshop because you went over there. You went to it last week before the city commission meeting. I think it was on 6th, Charlene, and you said there was some discussion. I guess James Slayton, our city manager, has said he's not going anywhere or something to that effect.
Yeah, he did. There was kind of an interesting give and take between he and Commissioner Gibson, in which Gibson asked him to please stay on. That was apparently very touching for Slayton. And also, as had been the article written in the Lake Wales News.net to the same objective. And so Slayton, once he got himself together, he talked about the fact that he had some problems at home. He appeared to imply that he had some financial issues, and he makes over $170,000. He was referred by Gibson to Mayor Hilligoss to talk further about what could be worked out for him in the future. And he did say that he will withdraw the application where he is currently on the finals list in some city that he did not name. He will withdraw it, and he agreed to remain as city manager here for the foreseeable future.
I want to stick something. I was not at the meeting, but I listened to it as it was going on. I felt a little uncomfortable at some of the ways that that Commissioner Gibson was gleaning information from Slayton. I felt some of it was personal and really wasn't appropriate to be done at a commission meeting. I felt bad about that. I did, and I'm sorry that happened.
Here, I think there were only 2 city commissioners present at the workshop.
But the whole world was looking online. I mean, everybody, you don't know how many people are at that meeting because people like me might be listening at home. It just seemed like something that, certainly to ask him to stay and, talk about going to Mayor Hilgos and, that all sounded appropriate. It's some of the questions that were elicited. I thought it put Slayton on the spot.
Maybe it did.
That way.
It did put him on the spot. But nevertheless, it happened the way it happened, and he did make the commitment to stay on. That's kind of the bottom line.
Yeah, and I will say that with regard to the city managers, a lot of times it is much more public than for the staff, because basically the city manager is hired by the city commission to manage the staff. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I kind of listened to parts of the meeting. I didn't listen to the whole thing. But at any rate, we don't need to beat this horse. But yeah. I just thought we should mention that happened. Yeah. And then I thought we should talk the city commission meeting on the next Tuesday, which was July 2nd. I think everything that was on it was kind of a lot. How many? I think there were 2 city commissioners that weren't there, as I recall.
Yeah. No, the only one missing was Thompson. Everybody else came. We weren't expecting the mayor or Williams, but they were there, and only Thompson was missing.
Okay, and then
wait a minute. Have you been looking up a lot lately?
So there was the only person that really spoke, I think, was the gentleman that was concerned about the asteroid. And I thought, these are the kind of reasons I go to city commission meeting. I don't know about y'all, but this is what I look forward to. This is the kind of thing that, keeps them interesting and exciting as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, just so people know what you're talking about, this guy did get up and say that there's an asteroid that's going to come very near the planet in 2029, I think it was. He had a number of other odd things to say, like he had his reasons for saying that climate change is a hoax, and his reasons were really totally weird and unscientific. But I have to say he was entertaining. The guy got up and said what he wanted to say. And we need a place in Lake Wales for people to get up and say whatever it is on their mind. So,
yeah, I agree. Yeah. And like I said, these are the things that keep life exciting, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, and then the next thing that we found out was that we do have part of the performance audit that came back from the BizLink incubator. That we've been concerned about. And you want to say anything about that, Juanita or Charlene?
Charlene, you take that one.
Well, they changed the name of it, I guess, to agreed upon procedures. That's the name of the audit now.
It's not an audit, they say very clearly.
Yes, it's not an audit. And I guess that's because they couldn't get enough information to do an adequate audit. That's what I took from the way I read it. Is that what the others of you understood?
Well,
yes.
I understood that even with the little bit that they do present, right, the little bit of information, it definitely, that first year, the deliverables were not met. In some of the deliverables were not met. And that the size of the clients for BizLink was very small, perhaps as small as 6 people.
And there weren't many conclusions drawn. The accountants who did this audit, called Carl Riggs and Ingram, or CRI.
Carl Riggs.
Yeah. They said something about how they couldn't give an opinion because they weren't asked to give an opinion. I can't remember the exact wording of that. But I mean, the bottom line is we don't have good information. You have to conclude that probably BizLink did not perform adequately for that $900,000 that they got, or at that point, I guess it was $500,000 at the end of that first year. And we're still waiting for the supposed audit for the second year, and that won't be in until the end of July, I suppose.
I think the wording, I'm looking here at the wording exactly. It was like well, let's go back and recontextualize this for people that are watching. BizLink is a business incubator that was opened sort of in the northwest area of town. It's meant for everyone in town. It was a 1.2. The complete contract was supposed to be $1.2 million. 500,000, I think, was given to the company in July of 2022. They were supposed to do quarterly reports of certain deliverables that they were supposed to provide. And then there were questions raised about the company and what they were doing back in, I think it was March of this year. We were called wicked and evil. The city commissioners said that Robert Connors was a liar and that all of his information was incorrect. There were a couple of misstatements by Robert, but I think the essence of his article was that there were concerns about this company. And then it comes to our attention about a month or so ago that the CFO had absconded with $250,000 and he had done it within the first year and then the comment was made several months ago by the city manager, James Slayton, that they were doing a performance audit of the company. And we've been waiting for 2 or 3 months now for this performance audit. We finally got it. We only have it for the first operational year of the BizLink. We don't have the second year yet because their year ended on June 30th of this year. But this audit appears to be fairly inadequate.
Yeah. And Catherine, don't you have the original contract with BizLink?
Let me show you
if you show that, people can see how it would be almost impossible to do an accurate audit of such an inadequate contract.
Okay, I'm gonna just give me 1 second here. So I'm learning how to project these things on my screen here at on StreamYard, which is the platform that we use.
So while you're doing that, I want to show you one of my favorite glasses. Can you see what it says?
What does it say?
Matter.
Old lives matter.
What is it? Old lives matter. Yeah. Well, that's certainly what Biden has said, right?
Yeah, it's my favorite cocktail glass. I only have water in it right now, but it is a nice cocktail glass.
Oh, yeah, Charlene, come on.
Okay, I'm trying to share this, and it's not seeming to come up on our screen here. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, I got it. So here is the audit. Oh, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you the, let's see.
The contract.
Now, let's see, share this tab instead. Okay,
there we go.
Can you see that?
Yes.
So here are, on this contract for BizLink, they were required to give certain deliverables. And this is a $1.2 million contract. And I just want to be really clear about, how this is this little, can you see that? It's like it's like a little grid of what they're supposed to be providing.
Catherine, you might tell people that they can enlarge it on their own screen with 2 fingers if they want to.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can take a screenshot of this and then study it in a little more detail. But it says things like that they're supposed to buy this building, which they bought a building, and that they're supposed to do lunch and learn, seminars, technical assistance hours, jobs. They're supposed to get people to enroll in Toastmasters, which I'm not sure exactly how all that fits together. And they're supposed to help businesses obtain financing, et cetera, et cetera. Some of these things were never even mentioned in the audit. I don't know, like helping people get financing for their businesses, that was never mentioned in the deliverables for the audit. But the most important two are the technical assistance hours and the jobs created. And there's no definition of what these things are.
Yes.
So this is a $1.2 million contract.
In fact, most of these things, if you're going to show the audit in a minute, most of these things don't show up in the audit at all, which I assume means they couldn't get enough information to try to report anything on them.
Well, I don't know. Like, I know that some of them, like I'm looking, they talk about these lunch and learn and these. I'm not going to project the audit, I think, because I think it's a little too small for people to be able to see. But I will mention what's going on with it in the sense that they said they looked at the lunch and learn. There were 6 people at this lunch and learn. So they selected a sample of 50%, which is 3 people determined that they were at this lunch and learn. Then at the training seminars, it's again 6 people. And we don't know whether this was the same 6 people that went to both of these things. They mentioned jobs and the technical service hours, but there is never a definition of what these technical service hours are and what the jobs are. Like, I mean, a job could be a job that's a day long in Tampa.
Yes.
The technical service hour, some of these companies were getting 600 and 700 technical service hours, and we don't even know what those technical service hours were for. I mean, if you look at a 40-hour work week, this is like 14 or 15 solid weeks of technical service hours for a company.
Yes, and we do know that very few of the businesses associated with BizLink are actually located in Lake Wales in this area, even though the original contract says that is where they're supposed to produce jobs. We don't know if any of the handful of jobs that they are said to have created actually were in the Lake Wales area, much less the Northwest area.
Well, we actually know that a lot of them weren't.
Yes.
Well, and a lot of the companies that they list as receiving these technical service hours or producing these jobs, if they were listed as an actual corporation, it was sometimes in other places like Brandon or Orlando. Some of the companies appeared to be defunct corporations that were actually no longer even active at the time that they said. Some of the corporations, if they're active, you look at their officers. One of the companies that received a lot of technical service hours, it appears to be a business owned by this gentleman, Blue, or at least associated with him, that received a lot of the technical service hours. So this audit that we received, in my estimation, was totally inadequate.
Yes,
I think in absolutely. All our estimations, it definitely was. It was kind of a joke.
Well, and I'll read again this, which leads me back to what I was going to say. It says this report may, and this is what their report says. I'm reading it directly. It says the city has agreed to and acknowledge the procedures performed are appropriate to meet the intended purpose of the reporting requirements and measurable deliverables in operational agreement with Florida Development Corporation. This report may not be suitable for any other purpose, which I don't know what that means. The procedures performed may not address all the items of interest to a user of this report and may not meet the needs of all users of this report. And as such, users, I guess that's us, are responsible for determining whether the procedures performed are appropriate for their purposes.
Yes. So it just tells us that this supposed audit, which is not an audit, reveals nothing that's very useful, and a lot of things that have not happened that maybe should have happened. I think people should know that we don't know when this is going to come up on a city commission meeting. Surely it's going to appear on a city commission agenda fairly soon. It's possible that it could be the next one, in which case we'll know it when we see the workshop agenda, which always happens before a commission meeting. That'll be this Wednesday. The agendas for workshops almost always show up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the day of the workshop, the Wednesday of the workshop. If the audit is on that agenda, then we will know it'll also be on the agenda for the following Tuesday commission meeting. People that are interested in this should watch those agendas for those two meetings.
Well, I don't think it will be on this agenda because this is just for the first auditable, well, the first year. It's not an audit. The first year that this company was doing this BizLink. The next year just ended on June 30th. So we're waiting now for a similar kind of blather for this last year. And so I don't expect to see a lot more from that, but they won't put it on the agenda till they have.
Well, I don't know whether they will or not, but even if they don't, surely because they know people are interested, that it would be mentioned in the city manager's report that takes place at the end of the meeting. Surely he will.
One thing that we really should, I think, reiterate at this point is during this year that they are reporting on, $250,000 disappeared. And so if people are wondering, well, why are they talking about this again? It's because that's a lot of money. and it obviously wasn't being used for what it was supposed to, which was to help the people in the Northwest District.
Well, when you consider,
it wasn't just for the Northwest District, Juanita. This thing is a BizLink is a business incubator for the entire city.
This is true.
It's located in the Northwest area, which is good.
But let's think about this financially a minute. During that first year, they had $500,000. Part of that money, half of it was stolen by the CFO. The remaining $250,000, part of it went to buy that building. I don't know what that building cost, but then how much money, and each of these three guys are drawing a salary in the $70,000, $80,000 range, as I recall. So that doesn't leave much money at all to perform the services that they're supposed to be serving and to develop the businesses they're supposed to be developing.
And the $10,000 mural on the wall of the building too.
Yeah.
It's a nice.
I don't know what that building cost. What did they pay for that building? Does anybody know? And they spent money, of course, improving it. So.
Well, and some of the companies that got technical service hours appear to be I won't make any accusations here. And I made a spreadsheet from what their quarterly reports, which by the way, I do not appear to have been submitted quarterly. They were kind of submitted all at one time. I've asked several times for when those reports were submitted, just trying to determine the time frame that they provided them in. But at any rate, the whole thing is pretty interesting. And I think we need to segue to this. This was American Rescue Plan money. This was a federal grant that came through. They were seemingly dealing with this in the CRA, but the contract itself is with the city of Lake Wales. So now we have just found out that the CRA, City of Lake Wales, I'm not sure which one, has just received received a competitive $23 million grant. It's my understanding it's from the Department of Transportation. That's a federal agency. They're going to be working on a couple of the other streets in downtown area.
Three streets. It's First Street and G Street and Lincoln Avenue are the three. As I understand it, those are the three streets. And the program under which the money is coming is called RAISE, R-A-I-S-E, and that stands for Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. So I assume that the contract includes that they're supposed to demonstrate that they are affecting sustainability and equity in some way as they perform this, whatever it is they're going to do.
And this comes probably under the federal, like the Pandemic Recovery Act, some of those recovery monies that came out of the federal government.
Yeah, I don't know how it's coming through the Department of Transportation, so we're not sure if if it's separate from those big Biden programs or not. But
Well, the point is, I think we should celebrate the fact that money's coming in, but we are asking that there be caution in how the money is being spent and with whom the money is being spent.
And that we see good contracting coming out of the city, because the contracts that I've seen so far have been very inadequate.
yeah,
And
and
that
and something about that, Catherine, to note is that Carol Gillespie is starting to zero in on the inadequate nature or the incomplete nature of some contracts that she's reading. And I hope that that's going to spur other commissioners to become more questioning about not just contracts, about everything that comes before them, because by and large they don't ask technical questions about most things that come before them.
which we're coming up on 26 minutes, and
Yeah.
we wanted to mention in passing what was going to the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting is going to be this Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes, at 2:00, City Hall, CRA meeting.
It's called CRA. That's the acronym.
And it's a very brief agenda, very brief.
And could you tell us what's on that agenda?
The main thing on the agenda is this. It's a memo from Daryl Sterling, who's a CRA consultant now, and I'm Starling. It's a memo from him to James Slayton, and it essentially it talks about giving some money to an organization called, let's see, it's called the
Real Estate
Foundation, which it used to be called not Legoland. I'm forgetting the exact name it used to be called. Anyway, they want to refurbish 3 houses in downtown in the Northwest area for affordable housing, and they want some supplemental money from the CRA, and that's what they're asking for. But it's not, the memo isn't clear whether or not they're asking them to vote on it. It says it's basically a presentation. So I think what we're going to see is a PowerPoint presentation about what they want. Whether or not it's something they're going to vote on Tuesday, you can't tell from the agenda.
They are a nonprofit organization. So.
Well, there's the first one, and so we encourage people to go out. There is a website for this, the Real Estate Foundation, and I'm not going to post it, but it's called the Real Estate Foundation. You have to look at it from Tampa. It's got an interesting picture on it where there are people like these women dressed in bright red outfits, and I'm not sure exactly what it's about. There's also the other company you were talking about. It used to be called Lexland Realty.
That's right.
And there's a Facebook page of that regard. And there's some interesting, I'll just say, this one of the thing it says, the next R&B real estate social is June 20th at the Social Bar in Tampa. You don't want to miss this amazing opportunity to vibe, curate, and connect with real estate experts so you can leverage real estate strategies to do whatever you were born to do. So this is an interesting company that they're talking about giving property and possibly financial help to build affordable housing. I think people need to go out and peruse these websites and Facebook page to see what kind of situation that is.
Mm-hmm.
And with BizLink in mind, and what ended up happening with the funds being absconded with allegedly, then I guess it would be really important that the city really do a good vetting on these people before they consider it.
Yeah, yes. I mean, we need to have good contracts that hold people appropriately accountable for their work. And we're seeing some problems with some of the construction in the downtown area. We're not going to go into that because we've gone into that in previous Three Little Ladies, but the city has a problem with their contracts and also with holding these people accountable for their work. And we need people in this town that are knowledgeable about what's going on with the city commission. I wanted to say something about the water. There's going to be the water.
Yes. It's called an informational session now instead of a town hall. And it'll be on July the 16th. It'll be at 5 o'clock.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. Right before the city commission meeting. It'll only last an hour, so it won't be the town hall that we requested. It's an informational session. I have been told that it's pretty technical and that people may not be satisfied with what they hear. And if so, maybe it will lead to an actual town hall. We don't know. People just have to watch. But if you are interested in what's happening with regard to the future of your water in Lake Wales, a way to get started is to show up or watch. I'm assuming it will be live streamed, just like the following city commission will be. It's a chance for everybody to learn a little something about the water.
Well, and we were included, the Three Little Ladies, in sort of a, what do they call it? A
focus group.
Focus group for a little video that the city is doing about development in Lake Wales. So I thought that was kind of exciting that we were included in that. And we asked, go ahead.
No, I just said it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. So at least our work is being acknowledged at a large level by, the city is starting to realize that people are really interested in this stuff and that they need to be getting out ahead of these issues and explaining to people what's actually going on, which I think is long overdue. And kudos to Eric Marshall, who is in charge of the PR for the city, for trying to make their materials and everything more accessible to the community.
And he especially seemed interested in what we had to say. And I really think that's great. He was respectful to our ideas.
And we should explain to people who are listening that focus group aimed at developing a video, a script that will be available in the not too distant future, a short video for everybody, which will help them understand. It's called How a City Grows. It'll talk about the growth that's going on in Lake Wales and give some details about it. And then it's to be followed by a series of group meetings of some kind. We don't know exactly what size or what they'll look like or what they'll be called or anything, but they'll be available. All these things will be available to the citizens of Lake Wales. And it's a great way to get informed and maybe have a little bit of input.
Watch this space.
Yes.
Well, it's been great seeing you guys as always. Yes. And it's always fun talking with you and, trying to get to the bottom of some of the stuff that's going on with the city. And I look forward to seeing y'all. I'll be there. I'm planning on being at that water presentation at 5 o'clock on the 16th. So
meanwhile, enjoy North Carolina, and we'll enjoy our heat.
Yeah, let's just chill and try to keep cool in this heat, everybody.
Mellow out.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.